And there's no guarantee Anthony, as promising as he looks, like Jock Caglione in Kansas City, is going to immediately make an impact. There's just not that easy a path for many of these players.
Not an easy path to bring this guy up. What is he doing, the bidding for the Red Sox? What is he talking about? And I love Ken Rosenthal. Big fan. But what the hell?
Because he's looking at the big picture.
And he's talking about bringing him up and then putting him back down.
Okay. And the problem is what? Like, I don't understand. I just don't understand what the problem is here. Other than you want to cheap out. You want to cheap out. And you know what? The more that this team sucks in the meantime, the more they have cover to not promote him. You understand that. Yeah. The worse they are.
You can justify it.
The more justification they have. That's right.
Because he's not going to come up here and get this team back on track. You're at that point just hoping for developmental reasons because he has nothing left to prove at AAA. But it's why it's so maddening at the beginning of May or even the middle of April.
Doesn't matter.
When you talk those first 2 months where you were still in this thing, when you needed to take advantage of that garbage schedule, which was the worst strength of schedule in all of baseball, that's when you needed to take advantage. Because guess what? Every team gets hit with these bumps and these things going wrong. The issue was for this team, they had no margin for error when it happened, and now you're seeing everything fall through the cracks.
But bringing a kid up with like it did with others, like you saw with Meyer, that it creates a buzz. It creates a spark. I'm wondering, you listened to Cora last night. Listen to him a week ago when he's asked about Anthony. He said, the door's on. He's kicking the door open. He's tearing it down. Like there's an excitement of him coming up.
Yesterday, while you're sitting there blowing it, he ties the game in the ninth with a homer.
But did they sit Cora down? At some point yesterday, they said, hey, we're not bringing him up for a while. Okay.
It's just not his decision.
No, I understand that, but is this why he's pouty after the game? Does he know there's no help coming?
But I think even Cora knows if he is here, it's not going to change what it is because of all the things he detailed there and lined out. You just go through how many dumb things you do in a game, and this is the problem when you're playing this many one-run games. Every decision he's making out there that doesn't work is getting amplified. Marcelo Meyer not coming out in the ninth inning yesterday with Romy Gonzalez at the plate, that feels like a spot against a righty that you would plug Marcelo Meyer in. Does it not? That's the kind of stuff you really start to harp on and focus on there, and it's a brutal spot to be in. He doubled down on Abraham Toro trying to turn the double play in the 10th instead of going home with the ball. But that's because they knew.
He said that was absolutely the right move.
Because they play for two regularly, but it's also understanding what your team is. And, his problem was they know with the bullpen, they had two lefties left in Bernardino and Wilson. At that point in time against the middle of the Angels lineup, which smacks lefties, how far can we go here before we absolutely kill the bullpen?
So it's a late, long game. And they're what, 135 today?
Yes.
So, he's like, I can't believe I got to come back in here in 6 hours.
We can't play to keep this game going inning after inning here because we don't have the horses.
He knows it.
Problem is your lineup isn't good enough to put up 2 runs or hope they are going to put up 2 runs.
Yeah, no, but they are, though. You had situations in the 8th, 9th,
Not
and
this
10th
lineup.
to actually take advantage of it, and you just left runners on base.
Well, that's the issue. You go back to the 3rd inning when Jarren Duran, where you have runners on 2nd and 3rd and no outs. Middle of the lineup, you have 2 lefty mashers, Romy and Refsnyder. Devers up first. You only get the RBI double from Duran that set that up.
Situational hitting, brutal on this team. That's why I'm out on selling. I thought about this last night. You need to actually play meaningful baseball and have a team that plays with a sense of urgency down the stretch.
Yeah. And
so you have some pieces I get that make sense to move off of. But even bringing a guy up like Roman Anthony and playing developmental baseball with
gives you something to talk about at least. We still got to do baseball reporters for an hour. Do you want to do that when this team's out of it?
I think selling off and playing meaningless baseball and punting on the season again does not help this young roster develop in the way that you need it to.
It kills your fan base. It kills your fan base.
I'm not worried about the fan base. I'm worried more about the young players that you're talking about because they don't know how to win.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to emphasize winning, and they don't know how to have urgency, and their manager has taught them none of it.
So think about that.
And they have no culture. This team has no culture of winning.
And
this team has a culture that has infected baseball, which is everybody go through their development processes. Everybody do what we ask you to do. Hit these metrics, hit these milestones, and then we plug you in as just one of 9 in the lineup. And that, to me, is a culture that fits the personality of Craig Breslow.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why Alex Cora is so checked out on the team. Maybe that's part of it.
Breslow doesn't have an edge. Sam Kennedy doesn't have an edge. The owner sure as hell doesn't have an edge. Those aren't the type of guys. That's the way they are. We were a terrible football team in the early 90s until Bill Parcells got here because we didn't know how to win. We had no clue how to win. We had a talented team. We did. That team I played on it with 2-14 would have kicked this team's ass the last 2 years.
And the other bad part is losing doesn't make them uncomfortable.
No.
And
So that might be the better way to say it.
Think about
They don't know how to win. Right.
Campbell's sitting there, and he knows
But
what Bayo's getting. He's getting $10 million a year. It's 3-1. He's jacking around.
Yep.
And the $30 million DH, he won't even play the field.
Yes.
So there's no leadership on this team.
That to me is the biggest thing. It's not so much, they don't know how to win. It's that losing doesn't make them the slightest bit uncomfortable. And that, I think, is personified with Brian Bayo last night. Congratulations, Brian. Yeah, you've been a stud.
Yep.
Yeah, big help to the team.
No, and the one-run games and the record in one-run games are exactly, it's proof of what you're talking about. There is no sense of urgency, and there isn't that lightning in a bottle. And the special Red Sox teams that we talk about, 2013, go down the list, just finding ways to win, right? Just finding ways to win. This team does the exact opposite of that every single time.
They don't crit.
McCone has our headlines. Before we get to it, I'll read you this tweet from Lou Merloni after the game last night. He said, guys used to come up and they learned how to play winning baseball in the minors, and I don't think they do as much. They get rushed through and focus on individual achievement. Case in point, Bayo overjoyed in the dugout for going 6 innings. Meanwhile, he's losing 3-1. That's your Red Sox. That was
Good job,
all
Lou.
summed up last night in that game.